I know what you're thinking. I know what you're going to put in the comments. Already, I can tell you've seen the headline and you're about to write clickbait. You're a clickbait butler. I am not a clickbait. I am literally just referencing what has broken this evening on Twitter, and it is quite astonishing. It really is. That Rodrygo, according to Diarios, or Diario AS, a Twitter handle that has 3.3 million followers and is a Madrid-based sports journal, has said that Tottenham have entered the race for Real Madrid's Rodrygo. Daniel Levy will try to lower the price of the Brazilian below 90 million euros due to the good relations between the two clubs. I am not clickbaiting you. This is somebody else's work. Diario AS's work. But listen, if it comes out, I'm going to bring it to your attention as fast as I can. And we are here to talk about it. There's also a TBR report on the same story. Guys, this would be insane. So insane that I think I'm a little bit embarrassed putting this out. But you know what? Content has to content. And so say what you will. But I'm just reporting what's in the news. I'm not creating the news. Guys, if you enjoy the theatre anyway, smash the like button. Smash the subscribe if you haven't already. Join the near 36k that have gone before. Hit the notification bell and drop the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Be nice, be friendly, be kind. It doesn't take a lot to be kind. If you can't be anything, just be kind. Let's talk about this one, guys. I hope you are all just in a good mood. I'm not sure when you're going to see this. It's late here. It's 11:20 at night, but I wanted to show you first and foremost. This is the story, right? So you know, it's coming from Diarios. Tottenham have entered the race for Real Madrid's Rodrygo. Daniel Levy will try to lower the price of the Brazilian below 90 million euros due to the good relations between the two clubs. The good relations between the two clubs, the article says. I'm not sure what good relations we have. I remember a long time ago we sold to Real Madrid Gareth Bale, and part of that deal, or was it the Luka Modric deal? I can't remember now. But part of one of those two deals, there was supposed to be some sort of commitment to exchange players, commitment to exchange ideas. Nothing materialized. Maybe this is the low-hanging fruit and the patient waiting game that we have been very, very much waiting for a long time. It's quite insane. Listen, this is more of a hyperbolic sort of video, but like I say, nothing to do with me. I'm just bringing it to your attention in case you hadn't seen it, in case you don't like reading and you'd rather watch. Let's talk about what the TBR is also saying. Jamie Brown, who works in conjunction with, of course, with Graham Bailey, here they come out with an article a couple of hours ago that said, Tottenham Hotspur have launched an audacious attempt to sign Real Madrid forward Rodrygo Hoyes. Tottenham have been working to sign Morgan Gibbs-White. However, Nottingham Forest have been blocking their move for the England international. Thomas Frank remains keen to add to his attacking options, especially with son Heung Min now available for sale this summer. The North London club have now turned their attention elsewhere, with Daniel Levy plotting an ambitious move to sign Rodrygo. Tottenham Hotspur are looking to make a statement signing this summer and have entered the race to sign Rodrygo, according to Diario AS. Levy hopes to use his good relations with Real Madrid to attempt to lower their asking price for the winger. Currently, Los Blancos want around £78 million for Rodrygo, but the Spurs chairman is hoping to reduce this price. The 63-year-old promised his new manager before he joined that there would be plenty of investment, and now he is plotting to make a real statement. I did say to you guys, all year I've said to you, expect a good window. How that looks is up for debate. I said either a new club's highest earner and or a new club transfer record. Within that, I was trying to just make you basically realize that when Matt Law was saying there's no money, that he was talking absolute guff. And of course, that's proven to be true by the fact that Tottenham have already splashed out 55 million quid on Mohamed Kudus. We tried to trigger the release clause for Gibbs-White for 60 million, the majority of which would have to be paid up front. At the same time, whilst that money is still isolated and put out there for that particular deal, whether or not it happens, and as you've heard me before, guys, say, I love the player, I just don't think he's an improvement in the areas that we need major improvement. He does improve our midfield options, but we are overloaded in the 8. I'd love to have him if money was no object. Yeah, bring him in. But for me, a left winger option is far more important. A striker option is far more important. And to be entirely honest, when I hear rumours that Tottenham have got 60 million quid for Gibbs White, 60 million pound available for Ilya Zabani, both of whom don't really fill any particular hole if Romero is staying, then we're also hearing that Tottenham are interested in getting Polina done on a loan fee, that Douglas Luiz is also of interest. Both of those two, for me, make so much more sense than either of those two in the initial short term. And on top of that, Tottenham apparently are also interested and have got 70 or not put off by the idea of signing someone like Adam Wharton. So we're going to play hypotheticals in this particular video, because if the Gibbs White story doesn't materialise, if either the pregnancy with his wife has sort of, deprioritized football in the short term, I'm just speculating. If it is that we have broken the rules, if it is that Nottingham Forest are using this delay in the procedure to go and find a bid from Manchester City where they include 40 million and give them James McAtee or something like that for Gibbs White, then Tottenham have to look in other directions, which is okay with me. It should be okay with you, because I'm not suggesting that we can't necessarily do better in the 8, but when you only have a precious budget, and then something like a Rodrygo comes along, I know it's horrendously audacious. I know it's probably ludicrous, but this is the silly season, and this is what we do here. If you're new around here, I don't know what to tell you. This is what we do here. So we're going to play speculation. I'm a little bit sort of clammy because A, it's ridiculously hot in this room, and B, I'm a little bit nervous of putting out something which I know is going to be inundated with, Butler, you're the worst. I'm just telling you what's out there. Guys, let's carry on with the story. The 63-year-old promised the new manager before he joined that there would be plenty of investment, and now he is plotting to make a real statement. Rodrygo had 54 games last season, 14 goals and 11 assists, 46 for Sonny, 11 and 12. Look, not that much of a difference. The difference being for me is that Rodrygo is an absolute amplifier of talent value. He's got age on his side. Listen, we're playing speculation here. We're playing, put aside the kind of where else would he go. Of course, he's linked to Arsenal, but Arsenal are also linked to Anthony Gordon, who I'd also be more than happy to have, by the way. They're also linked to Eberechi Eze, who I would equally be more than happy to have, by the way. They and us and also Inter are linked to Ademola Lookman, who's far more realistic, and I'd be probably just as happy to have him as I would a Rodrygo. But the story's about Rodrygo, so we're going to carry on. Should Son leave the club this summer, that would open the door to Rodrygo having the chance to take the starting left wing spot at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Mathys Tel, Micky Moore, Odegaard are Spurs' current options, but all three remain rather inexperienced at the top level. Signing a player such as Rodrygo would be a serious show of ambition from Tottenham, but at this stage it remains a faraway dream. Liverpool also planning to make a move for Rodrygo. The battle to sign Brazilian international remains fierce, with Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Chelsea and Arsenal all in the race. TBR Football understands that Liverpool are keen on Rodrygo, and Richard Hughes is preparing to open talks with the player's agent. If that's the case, this is the argument here. Sorry about the clamminess. If this is the argument, Newcastle United, right? So if you're a Tottenham fan, then you need to kind of remember, depending on what sort of Tottenham fan you are, you need to remember that in the last couple of years, most Tottenham fans that get frustrated, that I experience with, they get frustrated with Tottenham kind of punching below their weight. They think that we can go after the very best. And then just, even if it's unrealistic, at least try. Well, the problem with trying and failing is what you're seeing at Newcastle, which is a very frustrating summer transfer window where Newcastle fans have been essentially cock-blocked in their appetite and their expectation, because the club have gone after X, Y, and Z and landed none of them. Not James Trafford, not Ekitike. I mean, I could name 5 or 6 players. For the purposes of the video, I'm going to save myself the bother. But I'm sure you've heard all the stories, especially if you're on Football Inc. and get over to their link in the description and subscribe, where you find out about all these stories all day long, every day. The reality is that Newcastle have punched above their weight, trying to improve their squad depth by improving their first team and pushing the first team players down. They haven't landed anything because they don't have the draw. They don't have the high probability of success. They don't have the stadium. They don't have the location. And there's also some problems with the directors of football leaving. Eddie Howe has issues with directors of football wherever he's gone. There's just ongoing problems at Newcastle that are kind of flying under the radar, that are essentially kind of disrupting their plans. Newcastle went after Ekitike. Liverpool said, listen, you can have Ekitike or you can have Isak. You can't have both. We'll take Isak. They said no. He said, okay, we'll take Ekitike. And that's what Liverpool can do because they do tick those boxes. They have a nice, a more appealing city maybe. They have more draw, more probability of success, a bigger brand. They can still pay the money in variety of ways, etc. It creates a conundrum that Tottenham will have to face the same thing. If you go after a Rodrygo, is Liverpool just going to pick up the phone and say, get it done? The thing is, though, is that Liverpool have just signed Ekitike, who does play off the left. He's not really a forward. He's a left guy. If Luis Diaz wants to stay or wants to go, but Liverpool don't want to sell him, can they really make sense going after an Ekitike and a Rodrygo for the same position? I don't think so. Rodrygo's only unhappy at Real Madrid because they have too many players that are better than him on the left wing spot, even though Real Madrid have issues right now with getting effort and work rate out of those guys. But at the end of the day, Rodrygo wants to go somewhere where he can play on the left and be the main guy. How is Ekitike going to feel if Liverpool pick up the phone and sign Rodrygo straight away? I think that there might be an issue there. Liverpool are also looking at Malik Fofana, a person we spoke about today at Lyon, who's a very good player, a different type of player to Rodrygo, even though they play in the same position. And I'd be happy with that scrap if Liverpool wanted to go for Rodrygo. But again, the article is about Rodrygo. So let's carry on, shall we, guys? Let's carry on. The player seems to be open to leaving the Santiago Bernabeu, given he is unlikely to be a first-team choice under Xabi Alonso this summer. With the World Cup next summer, he cannot afford to be playing a bit-part role for his club if he has hopes of starting for Brazil. Therefore, Rodrygo's camp have made it known that he would like to look at options away from the club and are aware of his stance. It's interesting. That's the end of this. I'm not going to talk about Archie Gray. I'll save that one for tomorrow for you. For me, guys, I just want to kind of work through the magic here. Okay, so Rodrygo, could he go? Where else could he go? Right. So Barcelona don't need him, would never buy him. Arsenal are looking for a left winger, but they are also looking at players like Eze, as I've already said. They're looking at players like Xabi Simons, like I've already said. They're looking, and even though he's more of a 10, but he probably does more, as does Eze, of what Arsenal were looking for, a left winger that can also compete with Odegaard. Chelsea are looking at Xabi Simons. They've got Jamie Gittins on the left. They've got a number of wingers. They're absolutely fine. They won't need someone like Rodrygo, so that one's dead. In the UK, it would probably be Liverpool, Newcastle, or Tottenham, if Tottenham's even possible scenario here. United don't need him now. They've just gone and got Cunha. City don't need him. Where else is he going to go? Paris Saint-Germain have got flooded with options at the top end of the pitch. Bayern Munich is an option. Bayern Munich have just lost Musiala. They lost Sane. Are Bayern Munich going to go and get Rodrygo? Possibly. Doesn't make too much, or doesn't make too little sense. But at the same time, he's going to want a big wage and it's a big fee. Do Bayern Munich see other options elsewhere? They're looking at Martinelli. They're looking at a bunch of players that Arsenal have. They're looking at Trossard as well. Would Arsenal go and get an Eze and a Rodrygo? I can't imagine they have that sort of money to do that, having done what they've already done this summer. So I'm just putting it out there that if there is a way that you could spin the story, if you could spin the story like Shane Warne with a left arm over the wicket, that you could create some sort of value, and then also sort of put the dampener on the value proposition of joining Liverpool, where you've already got someone else who's young, who's coming in to play in that role. Is that going to work? Is Rodrygo going to play as a 9? No. Is Ekitike going to play as a 9? I don't think so. I don't believe so. I think he's very much a left winger more than he is a forward, but possibly. But then they've still got to get rid of Darwin Núñez. They still have to make space. Can Tottenham figure out a way to get something like this done? If Sonny's going to do his swan song, go to Korea, get his kind of testimonial, if you like, in front of the Korean fans, and then make room, it'll be amazing. And I'm just sitting there thinking about all of the different teams that are options out there. How many of them make sense? Not many. Tottenham do have ambitions. Tottenham are looking for a left winger. For me, I think it doesn't make that much sense. It's just reality because of the caliber of the player. But the link is out there. The story's out there. Guys, it's coming from a Diario AS, who are a Madrid-based journal with 3.2 million followers. Let me know your thoughts. I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to leave it there anyway. I'll be back tomorrow morning for a new one. Like, subscribe, and comment. And also, if you enjoy this stuff, all of my content are on audio platforms. The links are in the description for Apple, for Amazon, and for Spotify. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, be careful, be gentle. Come on, you Spurs.